respect for Mr. Ballard, who was the principal. They called him Peg Leg Ballard then. He was a brother of the Mr. Ballard, the inspector, and Miss Stewart taught the senior fourth, a smart little person who was very considerate of a kid that had just come from the country. She thought he was an Indian, but was very kind and very thoughtful and understanding. And I have a very pleasant memory of her. And I had a twin sister that was in the same class with me, and we started in 1898 in September.
And on behalf of the Strathcona Reunion Committee, I'm really pleased today to welcome so many people here back to the school one last time. The former teachers and principals, and those of you that went here, and your friends and relatives. And at this time, I would like to call on the Reverend T. Melville Bailey, former student of Strathcona School, to conduct the invocation. Reverend Bailey.
Let us pray. O God, whose prophet Zechariah has left with us a picture of your kingdom as that of an ideal city where many happy girls and boys are found, as we meet this day on which so many can recall their school days filled with happy hours of study, friendship, and play. Bless our gathering and turn it, O Lord, into an occasion of joyous reunion. This we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Being embarrassed when my mother was made president of the home and school and standing in assembly on the stairs.
Probably my first strap with Miss Kennedy. My first strap in school.
I think it's sad. They're taking our nostalgia and our past away.
It's a beautiful building, and I think they should leave it. I didn't know they were tearing it down.
I don't like it. I really don't.
My father went here.
Here's three cheers for you. Rah, rah, rah. Forward is our name and watchword. Do it, call me true. On Strathcona, we work and play to rule. Winners to be for you, Strathcona.
Thank you, Mary. Reverend Mr. Bailey and friends. Well, I'm just delighted to be here. And when I heard Murray, I guess I shouldn't call him that so informally, but there's something about a 90th reunion. You let your hair down a little bit, I think. But when I heard him talk about all the publicity that he's arranged, I was just thinking that those who are running for the Liberal leadership should get him on their bandwagon because he sounds really successful. And I do congratulate him and all the reunion committee. And I think maybe the reunion committee will not be able to rest on its laurels because I'm quite sure someone is going to call on them when the new school is open to have an opening ceremony of some kind, and they'll be hard at work again. I was delighted to see Mr. Leckie here again this year. Now I have to tell you a secret about him because sometimes he plays the role of Santa Claus. And he has just encourages all of us, I think, because of the way in which he participates in life, the way in which he deals with everything so enthusiastically. And I guess he's a symbol to all of those who have attended Strathcona School, a symbol of the realness of being a person, a symbol of a person who has achieved something in life, who has allowed the things that are within him to develop. I do believe that we are all created with a very special mission and a very special purpose in life, and that we all have the chance to develop all the way through. And I think he symbolizes a great achievement in that respect. But of course, we must pay tribute for those of you, and to him, of course, who have come from Strathcona School, because within the walls of this building, something must have been encouraged within you that otherwise would not have encouraged you to come back again, to revisit the school, and in some cases to work for it today. I'm just delighted to bring greetings on behalf of the region with some sadness, but with real pleasure, because this is one time when a school closing, shall we say, is it going to be a resurrection with a new school opening. Congratulations.
Hi, what's your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan? Jonathan what?
Jonathan Conroy.
And what's your name?
Lizzie.
Lizzie what?
M. Lizzie.
M. Lizzie. Well, my name is BJ, and we're from Cable 4, and we're taking some pictures today for your class and all the classes that we can see in the Strathcona school. Do you know they're going to tear this school down at the end of this year?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Because we're level with the school. That's why we're level with the next race. We're going to other school.
So you're going to go to another school. You're going to come back in 1985 when they make the school better and newer?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Jonathan? You don't know? And what are we doing today?
Playing.
Hey, what's your name?
Brian.
Brian. How old are you, Brian?
5.
5. How long have you been going to this school? Just started this year, huh? No, last year maybe?
I don't know.
You don't remember, huh? And who's that girl sitting beside you over there?
Sarah.
Sarah? Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine.
How old are you, Sarah?
5.
5. Do you know they're going to tear your school down this year? Yeah? What do you think about that?
Not good.
Not good? Do you like going to school? Yeah? Pretty nice teachers here, huh?
Uh-huh.
Hi, what's your name?
Timmy.
Kimmy? Yeah?
Timmy.
How old are you, Tim?
5.
5? Yeah. What's this you're playing?
Game.
It's a game, but do they have a name for this game?
I don't
No,
know.
just find the right shape and make sure that it fits in the hole, right? Hi, what's your name?
Michael.
Michael. How old are you?
5.
You're 5 too? So you've been going here for maybe a year, maybe 2 years?
No. Well, we just got here.
You just got here. What happens to you next year when they tear down your school?
I don't know what happens.
You go to another school. And maybe when this one's rebuilt, you'll come back? Do you like school?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you like best about school?
I like playing with the toys.
Playing with the toys. That's the most fun, eh? How about going home? Do you like that too?
Mm-hmm.
You want to say hi to Mom and Dad? Yeah? Go ahead. Say hi to Mom and Dad.
I don't know how to say hi.
You just did. What do you mean you don't know how to say hi? You just did. Thank you. Hi. Who are you?
I'm Michael.
Michael? Yeah? What are you doing?
Building a house of Lego blocks.
Lego blocks. Do you like building things with Lego blocks? Do you ever think of maybe someday you might be a contractor and you can maybe make another building for your school? Yeah? That'd be different. Well...
A place to sit, a place to go, where airy, airy, airy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to thank you for inviting me and the city of Hamilton here today. I wanted to express my apologies for Mayor Morrow, who's out of town and couldn't be here today. And on behalf of Hamilton City Council, we wanted to congratulate Murray and all the organizers of this very fine event. We understand that the school's days are numbered, and that's a shame. But the new school will open up a new era, and we sincerely hope that this event will carry on even with the new school. It's just a new school, it's the same property, it's the same spirit which should carry this event on, and I wanted to congratulate you and hope to see you all in the next few years at the next reunion.
I just want to say that I'm very pleased to be able to be with each one of you here today to share this celebration, the celebration of Strathcona School's reunion. I know how much the school must mean to you because you're here today and you're meeting fellow students that you haven't seen for many years. You're meeting teachers that you've had and the present staff who've worked so hard together to make this school a place where you learn together and where you shared in education. You shared many happy days together. And so I wish each one of you well now and in the future. I feel close to Strathcona not only because I went to school in this area, not to this school, but I went to school in this area, and my niece, Mrs. Vicki Getler, was a teacher librarian here. Some of you might remember Vicki. And I wish you all the best on this, your day of celebration.
First of all, I'd like to say it's my responsibility today to bring greetings to you from the Hamilton Board of Education. Before doing so, I would like to congratulate Murray and his committee members for doing such an outstanding job at arranging today's reunion. In the program, I see a great deal of trivia. I would like to add perhaps a couple of points to that. Back in 1894, 90 years ago, when this school was indeed opened and brought into the system, the salary of a principal was $1,200 per year, and a teacher received the range of $350 to $550 per year. Also, the enrollment of the whole total system was 8,700 children. 90 years later, the salary has increased greatly, and that's rightfully so because of the job the teachers do. And also, the enrollment has increased to in excess of 40,000 children in our system. However, if we go back 90 years, this school, in fact, housed a group of small children who were striving for an education. That education was being delivered by very professional and dedicated staff and teachers. It was supported by a very involved community, and it was in a partnership with very loving and very caring parents. 50 years later, we see that the school is housing a group of small children striving for an education. They are being taught by a very professional, dedicated staff. They are being supported by a very knowledgeable community, and the parents are still very loving and very caring. That is very well evident today. So I would like to say that perhaps statistics change, but people do not, and education goes on and on and on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for me as chairman of the board to bring greetings from Mr. Arnold Creever, the Director of Education, from all the officials of the board, from all the teachers, and from my fellow trustees who indeed represent you as parents and more importantly represent our children. Thank you.
Well, what can I say? It's a beautiful day, but it's still, you can feel the vibes. It's really kind of a sad day, isn't it?
Well, it's a sad day, but it's a very happy day. It's a day of celebration because people have come back to their old school, to Strathcona, for another reunion. They've met old friends. They've met old former students, people they were in the classroom with. They've talked to old teachers, present teachers, old principals. The parents are back, and trustees and representatives from the city and the region, and it really is in a way a day of celebration. I'm sorry the school is going to be torn down. I am hoping that they will be able to save the archway. They're building a new school, and I suppose you can call that another kind of celebration. Renewal. Renewal is going on all over the city and the region, and this will be a renewal for Strathcona too. After all, it's the people that make the school.
Exactly.
And people are important, the students, the teachers, the parents, the principals.
You get a real friendly atmosphere, a real friendly togetherness feeling around here today.
Well, I was very struck by the warmth of the people here. They've been very, very kind, very, very warm, and you could feel the spirit right in the auditorium. I thought the choir was just terrific, and I think the teacher is to be congratulated. And the children who were in the choir did just a superb job. They sang in two-part harmony, and it was just lovely.
I heard that. It was excellent.
It really was.
And I see Ben Leckie was here again this year.
Well, Mr. Leckie, as I understand, is the oldest student to return to Strathcona, and I was absolutely amazed. He looks about 70, and he's 98 years old, BJ, and he's looking forward to coming back in another 2 years to a reunion.
Yes, he is. He told me when I left the last interview with him, he said, "I'm going to be here, so you better be here," and he winked and he laughed.
Yes, I know he did, and I feel certain, God willing, he will be back here with us.
I think, yes, definitely. Mary Kiss, thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome, BJ. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much for sure. Thank you. Hi, Ben.
Hi.
How old are you, Ben?
I am 98 years of age, last January.
As of January what, Ben?
26th.
You don't look a day over 60.
Well, I don't altogether feel 90, you know. I'm still very fortunate to have good health and to be able to enjoy life.
How long ago did you start here, Ben?
Here?
Yes.
In 1900.
1900 even? Wow, that's a long time ago.
January 1900, I think, was when I left school to learn the tailoring trade.
Who was your favorite teacher, Ben?
Well,
there's so many of them, I'm sure, but who was your fave?
When I came here, I was in the junior fourth, and it was a Miss Jenny Stewart was the teacher, whom I respected. She was a wonderful person and very thoughtful for a little boy just coming from the country. She was very kind. And I went from her class into John Ballard was the principal, taught the senior fourth class.
And he taught you?
And he taught me, and he was a real gentleman. A great support to the kids. And
what was your worst memory of the school? Did you have one?
To many of us, Mrs. Marjorie Baskin, the trustee for Ward 1.
Thank you. I'm sure there's not one of us in this room that isn't in favor of progress. However, progress often means changes, and I know that there are many of you here that are going to be very sad as you watch the building go down. However, I found out when I served on the Neighborhood Improvement Committee for this area where we fixed up the playground and the swimming pool across the way, that at one time there was a Crystal Palace at Victoria Park. I'm looking forward to the book that's coming out so that we can trace this history. This is a remarkably stable community, Strathcona School, and I know that having worked on the Review and Analysis Committee with the community when we discussed the alternatives of keeping the building, replacing it, or perhaps closing the school, that it's a very caring community, and I think that those of you who served with me on that committee and with Mr. McMurrick and our officials know that while it's going to hurt us a lot to see this beloved site change a little bit, that we're doing the best thing for our children. A school really are the teachers, and there are quite a few of them sitting in the rows in front of you, and the principal and the children, and I was glad that some of the youngsters came up to the front, because that is what Strathcona School is, and the fact that so many of you would come back today for this reunion shows what it's meant to you in your lives and to us in the city. So I want to wish you well. We'll look forward to the new building, and if you've seen the drawings, you'll know that the spirit of Strathcona School should be within that building, and will go on for more and more generations of Strathcona graduates. Thank you.
It's a time celebration, LOC, Buffett Day, of learning for tomorrow by learning how today. It's a time celebration, LOC, Buffett Day, and to the A ensemble, A Chante. A time for education, a time to celebrate. 200 years of learning has made our province great. It's a time celebration, LOC, Buffett Day, of learning for tomorrow by learning how today.
Beside me is Mr. Murray Aikman, who has kind of been the overseer, the overlooker of kind of everything that's gone on around here. How you doing, Murray?
Very great.
I bet you this took a lot of preparation.
It did, but it was our second time through, so we did it right this time.
You did it in 1979?
Yes, we had a 2-day reunion here in 1979. It was just a very successful time, and we had about 1,600 come that day, and I'm sure today we're close to 800 over the course of the day. It's beyond my expectations.
I would think there'd been more being around here as long as I have this afternoon.
Yes, we had probably upwards of 250 in the gym there, crowded in, and who knows how many have been throughout the building.
How long have you actually prepared for this, Murray?
This particular reunion, our committee got together in, I believe it was November, to get started. We had discussed it earlier, and we've been in preparation since that time.
So it's a long time, really.
It takes a while. You have to line up your publicity and just what it is you're going to do and get it all sorted out. But with a committee like this, it's not that tough, because you just have to say the word and you get people who will take part, and most willingly take part, because this was their school and they love it. And
exactly.
It's a labor of love. Yeah.
I found that the friendliness and the togetherness and the familyship kind of feeling that you get around here, the closeness, that you naturally figure everybody would just pitch right in and do what they could.
That's right, and that's this. I'm from the mountain, and I didn't even know about this building until 11 years ago, and I've learned so much about the West End neighborhood around here and the school, and that's what it's all about. The West End is together, and they always have been, and you know, people helping people, and that's what it's all about. And even though people have come and gone, the neighborhood is essentially the same as it was, and you saw that today with the spirit exhibited here.
Yes. What exactly happens to the students here now, Murray? They're going to be ousted out of their school, and they're being taken, I believe, to Agnes MacPhail.
That's right. Agnes MacPhail girls are moving in with the Ainsleywood Boys School next year, making that school available for Strathcona. And the pupils will be bussed over for a year. And in the meantime, in July and I guess August, this building will be demolished, and the new building's begun, and we hope by September. And then it's scheduled to be ready to open in September of ¡85. And while I'm talking about that, we have some features of the old building that we would like to try and retain. This beautiful archway here, we're hoping to have incorporated in the new building, along with the cornerstone and some of the roof brackets and bricks, that type of thing. And our last word is that they're going to try.
You and I have been through the school with the TV cameras and taken a real good close-up look around the school. It's beautiful, well constructed, well put together.
Right. It's as we said in our publicity, it's a bittersweet day, because it's a shame. This building is okay, and it's too bad that it has to go the way it is. But some people would say that's progress, whatever form that may take. And there's a lot of sadness, I think, inside today.
I get the feeling that you're a little bit sad today, too.
Yeah, it sort of kind of hits home.
Yes, it does, for sure.
Right now, when you have all these people, because you know it's the last time you're going to be able to do this with the old building.
Former Strathcona choir members of some time do we have sitting out here today? Raise your hand if you were once in the Strathcona choir, or sang three-part harmony or whatever. Trio singing? Okay, good. That means we've got a lot of fine voices out there. And I'd like you to join us in one very, very special song, and that's the school song, which we resurrected 5 years ago. And the words are on the back cover of your program, called On Strathcona. It's to the tune of On Wisconsin. let's take the lid off this place this afternoon. The choir is going to sing the first verse, and then we'd like you to join in after that and really make it a rouser. For those of you who wish, the word model can be used in there because maybe that's the way you remember it. Okay, on the second or third line down. So let's join the choir in singing maybe a couple of verses of On Strathcona.
Well, I myself was getting involved with the school's history at that time, and talking to some of the people about the school's past, a few of them suggested that perhaps it would be nice if we could get everyone together again, and it was a lot of people's ideas that just sort of came together at one time. Yes, one of the gimmicky type of things we did for that day is during our program in the auditorium, we had the youngest student at that time, who was in the junior kindergarten class, and our oldest living student up on the stage together. And our oldest student was Mr. Ben Leckie, who had attended the school here in 1898. That's right. It takes place on May the 12th here at the school between the hours of 11:30 and 4:30. And we're having a special program in the auditorium at 2 o'clock that afternoon with the mayor and Ann Jones and various other invited guests present.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today, and it's a pleasure as a trustee and even just as a Hamiltonian to see the great support that this particular event has gone. I think reunions are wonderful things, and it's certainly evidenced here today. As I came, I wondered perhaps what the best way to give the message that I wanted to say, and I think I found it perhaps right here in the program. The closing comments are, although the building may disappear, its memory will live on in the minds of thousands. And if I can add the word, its memories and its spirit will live on in the minds of thousands, I think that will probably very well represent what we have here and what will be being built in the new school. I come here every year for the Christmas dinner and various other occasions, and I feel the spirit that exists within this place and within the people that have attended it and do attend it now. And I don't think that's found in bricks and mortar. I think that'll continue on, and maybe we can all look forward to another reunion in a few years. Thank you.
It's a time celebration.
was, we did a fair amount of publicity. We had flyers and radio and television and newspaper and that type of thing, and just various word of mouth was another way by which the word got around, and somehow a lot of people turned up, and many even missed it. We were surprised afterwards to learn from some who said they hadn't heard about it, but we're very pleased. We had guests here from California and Vancouver, and I think down the East Coast they came back.
Dedicated people.
You bet they were. I taught here from 1973 to 77.
Were you also a student here as well?
No, I'm a mountain person. I really didn't even know about the school until I was first assigned here, so I've learned a lot in 10 years.
And how did you get to be assigned to this school?
Well, I had just come out of teachers' college that year, and it's the luck of the draw, so to speak. You go where you were asked to go. And my first impressions weren't great. I drove by the building, and I had to shake my head a couple of times, and when I finally came in for the first staff meeting, I shook my head even more. And after a couple of years, though, the place really began to grow on me, and I had a great aunt that taught here from the 20s to the middle 50s. So I decided to try and find some of her registers just for old time's sake, and it turned out they were in the attic. And one thing led to another, and I found some old honor rolls hidden behind in a cloakroom, and it just snowballed, and I got more and more interested.
Hi, what's your name?
Gavin.
How old are you, Gavin?
10.
10? How long have you been an artist?
Well, as long as I can remember, I think probably around 5 years.
So as soon as you could, almost old enough to hold up a pencil and doodle, you were doing art.
I guess so.
In your own little way, you were.
Mm-hmm.
So these pictures, do you want to maybe explain the first one there on our left and maybe go over to the other one and explain what they are?
Okay, well, like I played D&D, and like this is what gave me the idea of this picture. D&D means like Dungeons and Dragons. Well, and this guy.
That's a video game?
Well, it's also a role-playing game. And well, this guy's supposed to be like a fighter, like a warrior, and well, this guy's supposed to be like an elf.
That's very good. How long did it take you to do each one of those?
Well, this took me 2 days, and that took me one night.
You just do it right out of your head?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd like to be a commercial artist or a professional artist?
Well, I don't know. Probably want to work with Marvel Comics Group.
If you don't, there's something wrong, because that's excellent for a 10-year-old. Thank you for talking to us.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure for me to return after 30 years and to bring you greetings from downtown, Mr. Creever, Mr. Riley, and the area superintendent. It's a delight to be here. Mr. Mulholland stole most of my thunder because I just wanted to reminisce for a moment or two about what I thought of Strathcona then and what I think of Strathcona now. This is a community of proud heritage and a record of support of its school. That has continued over the years. It was easy to teach here because we knew we had that support from the community. And as I recall it, a tremendous group of fine teachers as well, so it made it doubly pleasurable to teach here. So on behalf of those from downtown, greetings, welcome, and have a good day.
Hi, my name is B.J. Coyle on the grounds of Strathcona School. We're here at the reunion, and this is the second one, I guess, and with me is their principal. Is it Gloria?
Georgia.
Georgia, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Uh-oh.
Okay.
And what's your last name, George?
Georgia Mayer, M-A-I-R, Mayer.
And you are the principal?
Yes, I am.
How long have you been principal here?
I've been principal here 3 years now.
What do you think of the tearing down of the school?
It's unfortunate because it's an interesting building. I guess the good part is that we're going to have a very beautiful building to replace it.
Where is everybody going to be relocated? What happens to you, example?
Well, next year, all the present staff and all the students will be moved to Agnes McPhail School. The children will be bused. That's all materials, all furniture, all personnel will go to another building. So,
wow.
A busy time.
Then they come back here September 1985?
That's what we hope, yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I won't hold you up because I realize you have to get into pictures and so on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It is, but it's the type of work you don't mind doing because it's I've seen the results once, and in a sense it's a little easier. The committee is excellent. I've been with various organizations and groups, and it's usually, in that kind of case, you have 3 or 4 core people that do the work. Yes. This committee, everybody pitches in.
How many people would be on the committee, Murray?
The basic committee is between 20 and 25, and it expands to about 40 by the time we go, because we have a lot of students who went to the school, who are now in high school and at Ryerson, and they come back and they help that day with various little jobs.
The people that are on the committee, are they people who were perhaps students, maybe teachers? What kind of involvement did these people have within the school?
I would say just about everybody on the committee were former students of the school, and we do have one former teacher, Miss Hazel Broker, who did before, and again this time she is organizing a dinner for the teachers that taught at the school up until 1962. And she's in the midst right now of arranging that. So we're trying to take care of everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 1951, I first visited Strathcona School as a student teacher at the Hamilton Normal School. In 1981, I returned as the 13th principal of Strathcona School. Today, on behalf of the present staff and students of the school, I welcome you to our Education Week open house and bid you celebrate with us not only the memorable 90 years of Strathcona's past, but also the present and future years that signal not an end to anything, but the beginning of a new phase in the history of Strathcona School. Again, welcome.
Hi, what's your name?
Jed Neesonson.
And your name?
Wayne Wells.
And you gentlemen are going to do a book report?
Yeah.
What is a book report?
Well, it's just after you read a book, Mr. Smith assigns us something, like we have to do like a crossword puzzle, and once in a while you have to do a skit.
Hey, what are you going to do today?
Looking for hidden treasure. It's a Hardy Boys book.
Okay, I'll leave it with you. You're on.
So, the name of our book is Looking for Hidden Treasure, and okay, we'll start. Let's enter. We have to enter from stage right. Okay, I'll enter.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got to come in this way?
Hey, Joe, this looks like Dawson's Cave, eh?
Yes, the walls are blue.
A poor, unsuspecting soul just walked into the classroom. Carry on.
Well, we better hurry up and look at this goal. Look, wolves, Big Al might be coming. We better hide. Here, I've got a mining tool. You go distract them. Okay. missed. Get him. I'll tie him up. You go get the goal. Here it is. Later, the gold was returned to its rightful owners, and Big Al and his gang were put in jail. The end.
Thank you. With me today is Leslie, or Stuart Leslie. I'm sorry, I got your first name last and your last name first. How are you today?
Very well, very good.
How do you figure the proceedings went today?
Oh, excellent. The reunion committee did an excellent job today. There's so many people around here that are just bubbling over and seeing people that they haven't for a long time. Nostalgia is a very, very powerful stimulant. People are really high.
Yes, for sure. There's a lot of people walking around in just total awe of what they're seeing.
I have some friends that went to school here many years ago, and they said they've seen people they hadn't seen in 35 years.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Really, for sure. It's amazing how far apart we drift, and then years on down the line, you see them and you go, gee, how are you?
And many of the people have come from great distances to be here today.
Yes, they have.
It's a great tribute to the committee and the work that they've done in informing all these former students that this reunion is going on. And I think the committee and Murray Aikman and his group have done an excellent job. Really excellent.
Beautiful. It takes a lot of preparation and a lot of everything to get it all together, and the information and just everything, period.
And I think that little interview you did in the Strathcona Library a month or so ago helped too. A lot of people commented to me that they've seen your interview with Ben Leckie and Murray and a few of the other people on the committee.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
They listen to your program, BJ.
That's good. So at least somebody is. You know, we got to get everybody if we can.
Oh yeah. Well, that's good.
Well, we had a good turnout today, for sure. I understand they had a reunion back in 1979, and about 1,500 people showed up.
Oh, yes, it was tremendous. I wasn't here for that one, but I heard all about it. This neighborhood seems to generate a lot of great happenings.
The school was built during 1894-95. The cornerstone was laid in September of 1894, and it was ready for the students by the spring of 1895. Excuse me. And prior to that, the children had been accommodated in what was known as the Pearl Street School at the southeast corner of Pearl and Peter Streets. And there's 6 houses there now. And it had been around since about 1868. And some of the students also were the younger ones were in St. George's Church basement. And then the day the school opened, the children came over, and the little ones from St. George's carried their chairs up the street to the school. And
wow.
At that time, for both the laying of the cornerstone and opening the new school, it was a very big affair. You had Minister of Education there and all kinds of civic representatives and a full choir. It was a very big deal.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Principal, distinguished eldest graduate, Mr. Leckie, Regional Chairman Ann Jones, Mr. Hudecki, and other distinguished guests. It's a delight for me to be here. You are a community with much to celebrate. You have a long and distinguished tradition of education that you have helped to support. And I'm sure that all your minds run back to that old ditty, school days, good old golden rule days, and all the rest that followed. And I'm sure that your minds run back to some first memories, as mine does, to an occasion in kindergarten when I was standing at the board and I was wearing a knitted outfit with a sweater that I was especially proud of. And so I kept pulling it down so that it could be displayed to best advantage. And the teacher turned to me and said, "Richard, if you don't stop pulling that sweater down, it'll turn into a dress." And I frowned at her my worst scowling frown and hated her for the rest of the day. The last thing a young boy wanted was to have his sweater turn into a dress, obviously. But I think, as I think of this school and the community that surrounds it, that refrain, when it talks about reading and writing and arithmetic, really only touches the surface. That what education really is about is learning what it means to be a community. And of course, a lot of services that involve reading and writing and arithmetic go into helping a community. But learning to be a community is something else. And I think that when I sat down not long ago with Mr. Leckie and had a long conversation on the occasion of his birthday, I began to realize what kind of community this school produced and what kind of community spirit. But not only was he there knitting his socks and his mitts for his friends, but he was telling me about the days in which he helped to develop the relief system that grew out of the Depression and afterward, and that helped so many people that were in distress at that time. And then we got to talking about something else, about a philosopher named Emerson, and what personal development and fulfillment was all about, and how it could only be accomplished in relationships with others. And I thought to myself, you know, I've really struck gold today. And what I had struck, of course, was not just Mr. Leckie, but it was the spirit of Strathcona School. And so I want to congratulate all of you who have been part of it. As you've been part of it in the past, you'll be part of it in the future, and this school will go on to bigger and better things. Thank you.
We're actually in the gym with grades 1 and 2, and Mr. Villeneuve, who is the teacher?
Yes, Ralph Villeneuve.
And there's an assistant, I understand, with you?
Mrs. Knight is with me in the gym.
Okay, and that's just extra help, that's all.
Classroom teacher, yes.
Do you find it difficult being a teacher, or do you rather enjoy it?
I enjoy it most of the time, yes.
Most of the time?
Right.
There's always a catch to every job, right?
That's right.
What are we doing today, actually?
Well, the boys and girls here are using the plastic hockey sticks and just learning some of the basic skills.
Of floor hockey?
Right.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us. Oh, I forgot. Are you going to go to the reunion, May the 12th, 1984?
I'll be here, yes.
I guess it's almost a prerequisite of being a teacher of here.
I think almost everybody here on staff will be at the reunion, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Villeneuve. Okay. Appreciate it. Bye for now.
And 3 things. This is very careful. Number 1, you will find the puzzle. Number 2, you and the puzzle will come and sit behind the yellow line, facing that wall, one behind the other. And number 3, one of you will put your ball away. Go.
What actually is this class, and what are they doing today?
General Learning Disabilities class, and some of the children are not actually in this class but are integrated in for extra time. So providing through the week, if they get all their work done and they've had a good week in general, then on Friday afternoons we try to do a constructive activity.
It smells excellent in here, so I get they'd be hungry. We haven't eaten yet.
Well, you should have come just about 10 minutes sooner. We sent out lots of cups to all the teachers, so you just came about 10 minutes short.
See, we just missed about, we're just outside for the recess time.
Well, how'd you enjoy that?
Well, you know, crowded around the camera. What can I say?
You're popular today, eh?
Oh, you have to be. Only with the kids.
How long have you been doing this?
Well, now I'm getting interviewed. Great.
So this time I'd like to ask Dr. Hudecki if he would come forward.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished head platform guests, ladies and gentlemen. I was particularly pleased to be sitting beside Mr. Ben Leckie, and who was one of the students here in 1908 and 1909. And I'm rather envious of him, because he is the only one in our midst here today who could sit back and say that he was the best athlete, the best scholar, and the finest looking gentleman in the group. And no one's here to deny that. And we hope he will cherish that memory for many, many years. I was very delighted to help to convince the federal government to assist the board for the reunion. And I feel that it has been a very good and a very useful investment. The information that they have been able to compile and to distribute to the rest of the city in form of this brochure, in form of the material handed to the books, is a legendary description of what can happen and what has happened here in Hamilton West. This certainly has been the center for intellectual and for teaching. Here was Normal School, which was the teaching center for all our outstanding teachers. The school was their practice area, and here too they had the Crystal Palace, which was the center of the social activity in Hamilton. And it gave us some idea of the difficulties people lived and endured during the many early years of Strathcona. They had to come all the way down from the high-level bridge, from around the entire district here, in order to get to school. And it showed the price that we've all paid for an education. And although the focus has changed, and although our secondary and tertiary training may have moved in the area of the university, this is still a center of culture, a center of education, and this, through the good work of your committee, is being recorded, will be recorded, and will be left for posterity. Congratulations to the committee and to you, ladies and gentlemen, and may the progress that's been shown from this center continue, and if it continues at the rate that it has, our city will do well in years to come. Thank you very much.
Now, for those of you that are a little bit younger, we have in our front two rows, occupying those seats there, some of the former staff and principals of Strathcona School. And as I look out, I'm wondering if Mr. Shute, are you here? Could you just stand up, please? Jack Shute. Okay, he's standing. Mr. George Walker, former principal. And Mr. Tom Buttle. And representing Mr. Little, his daughter, Mrs. Buist. All the way from London. I'm not sure if Mr. Haney made it today or not, but we are certainly thinking of him today, and I know he is well remembered here at Strathcona as well. And so is one other gentleman who has passed away since we last had our reunion, Mr. Gordon Moore. He left Strathcona in 1978, I believe it was, or 78, and went down to become principal of Centennial School, but unfortunately has passed away. But he is also remembered by many former students and staff. And while I'm mentioning former staff, perhaps those in the front row could just stand up right now and take a little bow and receive some appreciation from your former students out there. Could you stand up, please? One particular person I'd like to point out is Miss Elizabeth Kennedy, who taught here from the 1920s to 1956. And we're very, very pleased to have you today. And Miss Kennedy taught here when this was known as the model school, and that meant something.